Moving up and down again, there's no discharge in the war. There's no discharge in the war.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Shepherd's Pie. I'm David.
And I'm Tommy.
And we're serving up another nasty slice of messiness for you here today.
Conspiracy pie.
Yeah. We're talking about the World Economic Forum today.
Dun, dun, dun.
Very recently, it's kind of come to a more public view. I guess it's more perceptible by the general Joe Schmo that there's something kind of sketchy with the World Economic Forum. Just recently, within the past year, our boy Klaus Schwab had
Great drawing, by the way. Great drawing.
Why, thank you. He had to step down because there's so much like drama and contention around the World Economic Forum and what they do and how much power they have.
He was dipping into a nonprofit organization that him and his wife started in like 2004 or some shit. There was an organization that he was dipping into, and all the other leaders at the World Economic Forum frickin' booted his ass.
Yeah, that's part of it too, is they were saying that like he had siphoned a bunch of money for like personal vacations and shit like that. And
he's a villain, dude. He's a literal movie villain.
Yeah.
He's a movie villain.
There was also claims of like unsafe work environment as far as like sexual harassment and like they were not great towards women. And I guess we're firing like older people left and right. Like you couldn't like be part of this organization over 60, which like doesn't make sense to me because there's a bunch of super old fuckers in here.
Dude, we got presidents of the United States that are pushing fucking 70, 80 years old.
Well, no, but like there's active members of the World Economic Forum that are old as fuck. So when I'm reading about it and they tell me that like, oh, part of the contention is about like their mistreatment of the elderly members, it's like, nah, get the fuck out of here. Like, you know that like there was a huge public push saying like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You know, everybody's starting to notice, whereas they've been operating kind of in the shadows for like 50 years. And now people are starting to wake up to it. So they had to let Klaus Schwab step down peacefully, you know, no holding him accountable for anything that's happened over the years. Yeah. But yeah, let him step down. Somebody else steps in. Yeah, but you know, we're gonna take a look at the whole thing. Go back to the beginning.
Yep.
I was thinking about actually making this two-parter because the holidays kind of fucked me up. Plus, I'm new to this whole research essay, fucking making a podcast, researching a topic sort of thing. I'm fucking 32. I haven't done this since high school. You know, like research on a topic.
Yeah.
So, you know, like at first I started looking into it and I got linked to the World Economic Forum's webpage, which, you know, if anybody's curious, just go to their fucking webpage because they are very open and blatant about talking about what their plans are and what they've been doing.
They lay it all out.
It's all very open and clear. But I started checking out their website and I found that out for myself. I'm like, oh, right here is a PDF of a free book, the 50 years of their first 50 years of their history. So I was like all excited. I start reading. I get like 20 pages in. Next day I read another 10 pages and then like 2 pages and then like a paragraph. And then I'm like skimming through it and I just like totally lost steam. And then the holidays hit.
Yeah.
and I just couldn't pick it back
It's probably
up.
dense with like very boring jargon and whatnot.
It's like year by year by year, and then
Yeah.
you can kind of pick up tidbits of like, see, this is what we're talking about right here, and I highlighted all of those. You'll see that in a moment.
There you go. There
But,
you go.
Yeah, there was a lot of boring shit. A lot of like them boosting their own like egos.
Well, you got to think too that they're advertising this thing.
Certainly.
This World Economic Forum it's being advertised.
Yes.
And so they're trying to sell it as like this is the solution to the approaching, problems of societies and governments and civil issues that we have going on, and the whole DEI thing, the whole environment. The environment is something that they're super heavy into. So they just use all these like little like fluff catchphrases, these terms and whatnot, and they just freaking bury their intention, but they display it, but it's buried beneath that like fluff that they're trying to sell to other people.
And like over 50 years within this book, they're able to be like, oh, well, this was the start of something that we see now happened in 2005 or 1990. Like they started getting the ball rolling back here. And so like they're really giving themselves a lot of credit for shit and showing you how their plans unfolded.
Yeah. That's another way that they sell it too. They're like, look how successful we are during this time period. Here's what we did and the success of it and how it changed things. Like, you definitely want to network with us, right?
Right.
Trying to market it to technology people and political people and business.
Well, I tried to do that smooth, but everybody gets to see my sloppiness. I wanted to point this out. A lot of people talk about the 666. And,
ooh, where's that?
I mean, if you want to get really fucking
oh yeah,
hard,
no, literally. No, it does. It goes through all the O's.
Yeah. So there's 3
That's
O's
crazy.
in World Economic Forum, and then they put the line through it, and it kind of makes a 6. I could see where people are getting that from. I'm not going to put all my tokens into that, but like, I don't know. The more you think about that, the more you're like aware of that, you start to see it everywhere. And I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like a perception confirmation. Like, I don't know. Like,
I mean,
you don't
we see
notice
it in
a
a
car.
lot of. Yeah,
Like,
I mean, we see it in a lot of different logos, though. You got Google, then you've got the CERN logos, and they all do the 666 in this type of fashion. Like, it's just for people who know, like for those with the eyes to see, and then if you don't have the eyes to see, then it's just kind of like imprinted on you without you knowing.
But
it's
like,
subconscious.
How often is it genuinely that, and how often is it coincidental that it looks similar and we're just stretching it?
I mean, I'd have to say that if it is coincidental, the like probability of that over something intentional is less.
Well,
I feel like there's more probability that it's intentional than not intentional, that all these companies have somehow or another 666 in their logos.
Well, so the idea is that, like, we always, like, the community, we always say they. They are out to get us. They're spraying chemicals. They're poisoning the food. They're doing this. They're doing that. Well, people are always like, well, who's they? Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
This isn't the only they. But they is like the shadow. It's not a shadow government because it's bigger and larger and has more power than any government.
They is the network.
It's like the shadow entity that runs and controls the world. So then,
because you can say like the one thing. So you can say that they're always who's they? Well, these plans and these conspiracies, they're freaking. They're amorphous. We're talking about an effort to, let's say, cull the population. You can't pinpoint that onto any one person. And that's so they're asking for, oh wait, who's they? Like, we're going to be able to give them a name. And it's like, no, actually. So they're trying to cull the population. I mean, you've got like vaccines. So I guess we could say Bill Gates. I guess we could say Planned Parenthood. We could say, chemtrails. It's they, because it's a network of these guys
Right.
that are all working together, all these different entities and organizations. It's an effort.
But it's like, if you're going to believe in that, you can extrapolate that and think that, like, all right, if there is a they, if there is a big entity that runs and controls the world from, for lack of a better word, the shadows, not to assign a darkness to it, because I'm not doing that yet, but say there was an entity that runs and controls the world. We're not doing very well as like a whole world. Everything's pretty fucking nuts and has been for a long time. So if these people are in control, and we believe they have been since forever, you think they'd be doing a better job. But it seems like we were saying before with like the cryptids, that like there's not any like really like uplifting, like divine, godly story.
Yes.
Like everything is satanic. Everything is horrible and death and evil and greed. And so that just leads you to believe that they, if we do believe they exist, are fucking evil.
Yep.
Like, you can't be trying to call the population, and we will get to that. Like, they are trying to call the population, not just of the U.S., but of the whole world.
Yeah. It's like a stated fact.
Yeah. So if they're trying to call the population, you're clearly not on the side of good. Like, that's got to be for evil. Even if it's
They'll say it's for good. They think it's good. They try to rationalize it by
most of them will claim
that
they're not religious at all. They don't believe in any
too.
God, and they just do, what is backed by the science. This is all scientifically
They're beholden
backed.
to self.
Right. So I guess that's just where we get the idea that, like, all of these companies could all be secretly hiding a 666 or something nefarious into their logos and their trademarks, because if they are all tied in together into this they entity, and this they entity is really trying to suppress us and control us and prevent us from becoming one with God, then, slip the shit in wherever you can.
Yep.
But yeah, so there's that. But right off the bat here, are we cutting shit off, huh? How do I zoom
that's
out?
weird.
Yeah. There we go.
There we go. Still kind of weird.
So, until one is committed, there is a hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffective, concerning all acts of initiative and creation. So, until you're committed, there's always that chance to be hesitant. There's one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that never otherwise would have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decisions, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meeting and material assistance which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic.
Magic, dude.
Begin it now. So
that is unreal, because the whole time that you're doing this, the entire time that you were just reading that, I'm like, okay, this is actually just telling you about magic. It's telling you about what they do. They're literally letting you know about magic, and then right at the end, they give it away.
Yep.
That's magic right there.
So literally all they're saying is basically anybody can do whatever they want to do, right? You just got to
It's like the Aleister Crowley thing.
Yeah, you just got to set yourself towards it, choose it, don't hesitate, put all your will towards it. Like, get rid of that hesitation, because what kills splendid plans
Yeah.
is that hesitancy, that drawback.
Dude.
So
This is some insanely occult type teaching.
yeah, right off the bat they mentioned the magic.
Right off the bat. What is this? What is this part of?
This is the Partner in
Their
Shaping
book?
History. This is their book about the first 50 years of their history.
And that is the first bit of reading material they give you?
That is the very first bit from Goethe. Goethe. I don't know who Goethe is, but he's mentioned later. It'll tell us, I believe.
Unreal.
Yeah, right off the bat, they talk about the magic that they're doing. So it's more than just these non-governmental entities with power over industry and government are controlling
it's a
the world.
Unified
but they're
belief
like
in this
occultists that practice magic. So
Yep.
if you want to believe it to that extent, you can. I kind of do.
I do. I absolutely do.
So founded in 1971 as the European Management Forum. It wasn't originally the World Economic Forum. It was the European Management Forum. In 2020 was their 50th year, so they're at 55 years now. First symposium was held in Davos. I tried to look up what the word Davos meant, and I guess it just means valley. But there's a lot of talk about this area being a location to a pit to hell. I'm not too big on that theory. I don't know much about it, but there is an idea that like there's a pit to hell somewhere in Davos, I believe.
There's a thing with Switzerland that a lot of people think that it's like the head of the beast. That the head of the beast actually resides within Switzerland. Switzerland never gets attacked during the wars. They are the house of the World Bank.
Right.
It's where the World Banks operate from safely. It goes back into like barbarian times, Roman times. Switzerland was like a huge meeting place for a lot of these pagan like Norse and Germanic and otherwise peoples, and they would meet there and they'd do their rituals to their gods, their sacrifices. They would partake in substances, the whole nine. Switzerland is an extremely occulted land, and that makes a lot of sense.
Every time my wife and her friend are talking about leaving the country, my wife's not as big on it anymore. I've kind of got her off the notion. But it's a conversation they table from time to time. And whenever it comes up, they talk about going to Switzerland. And I'm like, fucking, that's off the table. Like, we're going to Texas, if anything. But I wouldn't even want to go to Texas anymore. I just saw a thing.
I would visit Switzerland. I would
visit anywhere. But I'm not leaving the U.S. to go live anywhere else.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
But I would have left for Texas, but I just heard Texas has like almost Sharia law in place. They've got like a ton of mosques and all these like Muslim food markets, and just the Muslim population's going fucking crazy in Texas, and they're
everywhere
about to give
right
their government over to the Muslims.
Yeah, they're flooding every haven now. Like, and you know what's crazy is that Texas was like kind of like a pinnacle, it was like a beacon for people, during the whole COVID times, and they immediately saw that and they had to shit on it. They had to.
Yeah. So totally off topic, but if that's happening in your area, definitely do something about it. Don't cause any violence or discrimination against Muslim people, because everybody is wonderful and deserves the grace of God. But speak to your government about it. Don't let your government do anything ridiculous like start Sharia law in your cities. That's fucking insane. Back to the topic at hand. 87 was when it was renamed to the World Economic Forum, and the European Management Symposium is what they started calling their meeting to kind of differentiate the name, because they became so global at that point. Throughout the years, numerous businesses, governments, and civil society leaders have made their way to the Swiss Alpine Resort. So this entity interacts with business, government, and civil society leaders. So we're not, like, this is how we're building the fact that this conspiracy is not a conspiracy. Like, there is a group that is made up of civil society leaders, business leaders, government leaders. And every year they get together, and it's not just once a year. This is like a week symposium, and then they hold hundreds, if not thousands, of events year round, all around the world.
Globally.
Like, all talking, the idea is to talk about the agenda. And what is the agenda? Well, we'll get to that in a moment, but there's this reoccurring idea of this informal conversation that they're able to have at these meetings. That's the draw, is this informal conversation that everybody's able to table with each other. And so never before, really, apparently, were these business owners, government leaders, and society leaders able to converse in such a way.
Very public. That's the allure of this, is that it's actually under a public host, it's because a lot of these, we've talked about, like, elite families. We've talked about the fact that they operate through, like, secret societies, which are in the shadows. This is very much the opposite of that, but to the same effect. So it's like they have the guys behind the scenes meeting in the shadows, puppeteering, and then they have the people in the light too. It's like a balance that they're trying to strike for global domination. Absolutely evil.
Yeah. So the annual meeting has also been a critical platform for furthering peace and reconciliation in many parts of the world, promoting understanding between East and West, introducing emerging economies such as China and India to the international community, and bringing to the forefront the latest trends and developments in every field.
Yeah.
From information technology to global security, from architecture to philanthropy. So we talk about, why is the architecture so boring? Why is everything so industrial, depressing? Why can't we have the sort of architecture that we had in the early 1900s, where everything was beautiful and Romanesque and inspiring and like breathtaking? Built to last. And well, we have maybe these people to thank.
There are definitely going to be
innovation in architecture.
And
what was this? Information technology and global security, right next to each
AI,
other.
I mean, some of the people that are linked to this organization are head proponents for AI technology in the world.
Yeah, and global security is a big thumb on the world. Yeah. Well, I'm thinking, like, anybody steps out of line, you now have all the countries together to.
Unified.
But also the idea that, like, they go so far back that countries like China, who are now so dominant, really do have a lot to, like, they owe towards the World Economic Forum, because they didn't have a platform on the World Forum, separate, not World Economic Forum, but the entire World Forum. They didn't have a platform to speak to everybody.
Yes.
So for India and China to be where they are now, they really do have a lot owed to the World Economic Forum and these people because of these things.
And Klaus Schwab.
And you'll see that later, too. Everybody's sucking dick. So Davos has been a place where incipient changes in the world are first discerned, and where ideas for changes that have shaken the world have been conceived or refined. So what the fuck does that mean? Like,
well, hold on. That's dense.
Yeah. So incipient changes, which means they are taking these tiny little sparks of ideas that are changing societies, and they're taking them, They're chewing on them to their fullest extent with the smartest minds because they're first discerned here in Davos. And this is where the ideas for changes that have shaken the world. So they take these little sparks of ideas and turn them into ideas that shake the world.
And turn them into actual plans that they turn them into fruitful. They make them fruitful.
And they conceive them and refine them.
Yep.
So
that's crazy.
What has never changed since its beginning is the forum's dedication to collaboration among stakeholders. And we'll get to this. We'll get to this. The steadfast adherence to high-level participation of leaders. The steadfast adherence to high-level participation of leaders, sharing the forum's commitment to improving the state of the world and the forum's trust in the power of dialogue and exchange based on mutual respect and civility to bridge divides and shape actionable solutions to global challenges. That's a lot of word jargon. What does that mean?
This is them telling it's advertising out pretty much that they harvest ideas for changing the world, and they're trying to bridge that.
Well, firstly, it says forum's dedication to collaboration. What does that mean? We are dedicated to working together.
Yep.
Like a fucking Illuminati, like a Freemasonry, like a fucking gang. You know, they are dedicated to working together. Yes. And steadfast adherence to high-level participation. So everybody that's participating is participating to their utmost.
Yeah, with all they got. High level, so it's got to be with full faith and full commitment.
And what are we participating in? But the improving of the state of the world is what they're going to keep telling you.
Yeah.
By whose standard? By what means?
We're here to save you. We're here to save you.
Yeah. By whose standard and by what means? We'll get to that. So, World Economic Forum annual meeting, and indeed all the activities and initiatives of the forum around the world are distinguished by the active participation of government, business, and civil society figures, both the most experienced and the most promising, all working together in the collaborative and collegial spirit of Davos. Ew.
The spirit of Davos.
That's when I was like, what is fucking Davos? And it's just Davos is the pit. Davos is the valley. Because it's a valley in between mountains. So
they want the cream of the crop all to come together and just work together in this spirit of hell.
So
in the spirit of the pit.
They're saying the reason now 50 years later that the World Economic Forum is so distinguished is because civil society figures, businesses, and government have been working together for the last 50 years.
Dude, there's your conspiracy that is no longer a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy.
They just said it.
They're saying this is why it works. This is why it is so renowned. This is why everybody all over the world wants to be invited to the World Economic Forum, because they've been doing it for 50 years.
Incredible.
It's not a conspiracy. They are conspiring. Well, we don't know that they're conspiring. They just want to help the world. Again, fucking how? How are you going to do that?
Help the world.
So, book provides a year-by-year summary. Today is widely regarded as the world's... Today, the forum is widely regarded as the world's foremost multi-stakeholder platform for addressing the most pressing issues on the global agenda. Today, the World Economic Forum is shaping global, regional, and industrial agendas. So it's telling you right there, shaping global, regional, industrial agendas. Agendas. So,
they're think tanking solutions for, or not even solutions. They're think tanking the means to their end.
Yeah,
that's what their ends.
1,000 partner companies in collaboration
this
with
100%
international
has to do
organizations, civil society, and academia as well.
Yes. There we go. There's all of it. every
It's
single
concluded with the United
facet.
Nations.
This is 100% what people over the past. I mean, dude, Bush Senior was recorded talking about the
he's
New
in
World
here.
Order, you know, and he's in here.
He's in here.
Bush Senior.
Yeah, he addresses the forum.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, Bush Senior was talking about the usherance of a New World Order.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is exactly what this organization is.
That's
and
what
aims
this
to
is.
do.
This is a world order.
Yes, the New World Order.
I mean,
it will be headquartered
it's
out
a
of
form
Switzerland.
of world order. You see all these people wanting their own different forms of world order.
Yeah, but they end up bowing at the end of the day to the organization.
Nah, you think if China had the means and the ability, and like everything was perfect for China to take over the world, you think?
But they don't. And then this organization has. This organization has the collaboration that China doesn't. This organization has the collaboration that all these countries don't.
Yeah.
It's got the network. It's got funding up the ass. It's got everything it needs and the guys to sell it. China doesn't.
The only reason they don't is because of shit like this. I'm just saying, like, they would have a different world order. They wouldn't subscribe to this same world order.
Well, I think that not necessarily, because all of this is so
and I think
vague.
at like some level, China would be out for their own best interest. That wouldn't be necessarily what this is, but they would go along with what this is because participating in this is within their best interest.
I mean, that would be pretty much every. I know
like,
what you're trying to say.
Yeah, like everybody would, like, participating in this is better for their self-interest than pursuing their own goals, essentially. Like trying to stake it out on your own instead of being part of this world order. Anyway, the Davos spirit that we mentioned before, here's their definition. The concept of multi-stakeholder participation, collaboration, and congenial exchange. Klaus Schwab outlined the idea in his book, Modern Enterprise Management in Mechanical Engineering, which was published in Frankfurt. He argued that the management of a modern enterprise must sever all stakeholders. Must serve all stakeholders, acting as their trustee, charged with achieving the long-term sustained growth and prosperity for the company. So, basically, it's like they're, with the spirit of Davos, consider the company as the world, essentially. But the company's really just their pocketbook at the end of the day. Like, they're trying to say that, like, the idea is we're looking at the world and we're trying to manage it the best as we can, like these companies. But really, they want to manage their companies the best as they can. And
it's talking about stakeholder.
Bend the world to suit their need.
Yes.
And it's to suit the stakeholder.
Yeah. The stakeholder idea that they're outlining. Stakeholders are just the people that have vestment in the entity, vestment in the organization, and this reaches to communism, is what this is. This is talking about socialism and communism. Yeah,
and this is why communism doesn't work, because the people that are the most numerous and should be looked out for the most are down here.
Yeah, the stakeholders are the people at the heads of because who are the stakeholders in the World Economic Forum? They are political leaders. They're all leaders. They're the cream of the crop of industries and of politics and all of these other things.
They put it here, was intended to allow top managers of corporations to interact with all of their stakeholders. It was also conceived as an opportunity for senior European managers to learn about the latest management technology. This is just still talking about the thing.
The stakeholder capitalism thing is leaning so heavily into socialism. It's insane. It's insane. And that's what they're really trying to push on everybody. I mean, we see with like their whole DEI initiative and everything. It all adds into this socialist, communist edge that they're trying to bring to the world. They want to do away with regular free market capitalism, and they want to control it all.
Okay. Who's the stakeholders? It includes the enterprise owners and shareholders, customers, suppliers, collaborators of any kind, as well as the government and society, including the communities in which the company operates, or which they will be affected by it. So they have this diagram here where at the top is the shareholders and in parentheses the owners. So you've got the owners of the companies and the people that have vested in it as shareholders.
Yep.
And they put that at the top for a reason. Like, it's a circle to make you think that they're being inclusive to everybody the same amount. But they're not. Shareholders are at the top. National economy and creditors are right next to it. So your creditors, that's your bank.
Yep.
They're taking care of the bank. They're taking care of the national economy. So they're taking care of not the government, because the government and the society is down here. The national economy is making sure that actually your fucking GDP is increasing. Because so long as your GDP is increasing, they're continuing to make money.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care if your government and your society is making money. They want your value of your dollar to increase, because then their dollars increase. So then
it allows for more debt. It allows for more creation of liquidity.
And that's one of the first things they talk about in this book, dude. So, and then on the bottom, you've got the government and the society. So they're going to make a good cut, but not as great as everybody else. You've got your customers, which really I think they're probably lower. But then at the bottom, you've got your suppliers and your collaborators, which is literally just the people that work for you. So at the very bottom, here's the people that make it happen. I mean, you kind of credit the customer with making it happen because they're giving you their money, but it's the people that work for you and the people that fucking supply you, because they're also technically working for you. Like,
yeah,
they're at the very bottom. So, prominent professors from the top U.S. business schools. So when we say that the fucking schools are brainwashing people, this is where they're getting their brainwashing from.
Yep. You know, with the whole DEI thing now, and that's
or like the gatekeeping. Maybe it's not brainwashing. Maybe it's just gatekeeping. Maybe they're like making sure only certain people get through, or only certain people get certain jobs. Like, they have people in these positions. It's undeniable. We're just being tinfoil hat crazy people by saying it could be possible that they're all colluding together. You know,
it's not even tinfoil hat crazy. They're telling us that they're all collaborating.
Right.
This is probably one of the better displays that we could give to you guys,
because it's straight from them.
Exactly what we're talking about. Because this is a
because they wrote this book.
Yeah,
they wrote
and this
it.
is exactly the strategies they're using. And this perfectly outlines what people who have been called crazy, who have been called tinfoil hatters, who have been called conspiracy theorists for the past, I don't know how many decades, probably close to 100 since JFK. This perfectly outlines the exact they, like you said earlier, that we've all been talking about for so long.
Right.
And you can't even deny that it exists, because here it is. Here it is. It exists.
So I just read fucking Fortnite somewhere, but I don't know where I read it. I'm pretty sure it was 2 weeks or like 20 days, this first meeting. That was from 24th of January to the 7th of February. So yeah, about a little over 2 weeks was the first meeting.
I would love to know how many of their prominent figures are Freemasons.
Oh, a ton. So,
yeah, it's got to be the
you start
vast
connecting
majority.
those. Yeah, you start connecting those dots. You'll be fucking doing it all day. 450 participants from 31 countries joined. 50 faculty members. So only 50 people worked for the first World Economic Forum.
That event.
And they had 450 visitors from 31 different countries. and media representation. So right off the bat, the first one, they're making sure to get good media coverage, and that's a reoccurring thing too. Is
Oh
the,
yeah,
the
100%.
media coverage.
You got to sell it.
Right. Oh yeah, fortnight-long meeting. That's where I read it. Focused on challenge of the future, or the challenge of the future, and the corporate strategy and structure. So for 2 weeks, they talked about the challenges of the future and the corporate strategy and structure. And so the first thing they talk about is the challenges of the future, is this book. I'm anxious of when they're fucking actually going to talk about it, because I'm got it in the back of my head. I want to talk about it.
Well, if you have to, we can kind of skip around to different stuff.
So they even say, consider the tenor of the times. This was 1971. This is a period of time of major technological and political, social, and economic upheaval. Man had recently landed on the moon. Bullshit. The conflict in Vietnam was intensifying. The Cold War and raising questions about the role of the United States in the world. Social protest movements in developing countries had stirred debate and sometimes violent protests over civil rights. Poverty and justice. Developing nations were struggling to build stable societies and economies. U.S. monetary system would soon go off the gold standard. Americans would go through one of the most wrenching political ordeals in their history, leading to the resignation of a president and a crisis of confidence in their leadership. Conflict in the Middle East would heighten concerns about global security. Oil price shocks would rock the global economy and spark an international oil crisis. So there's a lot of fucking drama. Like, we're 30. Yeah. We're 32. Our shit only goes back to the 90s, and we were dumb and stupid little kids in the 90s. So our parents did a poor-ass job of teaching us the actual history of what happened just very recently. And school doesn't even talk about current events like that. Like, they teach you what's in the textbooks, and the textbooks are bullshit. Like,
it's just narrative based.
It doesn't even teach you good history. Like,
it's narrative based history.
There's ways to teach kids about all of those things that would be so much more interesting. There's way better topics to talk about. Like, the way that we learn history in school is so fucked, and you can thank, apparently, the Maxwell family. We talked about them already.
Yes, we did.
But fucking, Robert Maxwell's company makes all the textbooks. So, I mean, the history, we're talking about, I hear a lot of people talk about, well, when did it all fucking go wrong? And you look at these graphs where it all starts taking off around 1970, 1971. And they're like, what happened in 1971? And they're like, oh, we went off the gold standard. We went off the gold standard, and it mentions it right here. The U.S. goes off the gold standard in 1971, and that's a big fucking deal. But what also? 1971.
Fractional reserve banking.
World Economic Forum in 1971. That's when all the shit starts going crazy too.
Yep.
So I don't know. But also, a lot of
kind of lines up a little too coincidentally.
Yeah. The impact of computers on individuals' privacy. That's part of this, but let's see. The first Davos meetings. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go.
Okay. First Davos meeting set a precedent that the forum has maintained ever since: the use of the latest information and communication technology. So this blew my fucking mind, because I assigned this to the Sentient World simulation. And
you could absolutely draw the bridge there.
Borrowing from the U.S. Space Agency's Mission Control Operation, Schwab had closed-circuit TVs and set up to cover sessions and facilitate interaction among participants. So they had TVs to communicate back and forth. The forum also created a database of information on the program and on participants to organize working groups and panels. Computer-generated models were employed to analyze the implications of strategies under consideration and predict the impact that any specific allocation of resource would have on their business and the environment. What?
Yeah, they're running simulations.
What?
That's exactly what it's talking about.
1970, you're running simulations, tons of them, because you got 450 participants all sitting at different tables having different discussions, and they're all able to have this ability to run these simulations separately on what these conversations they're having, what effects that would have on their business, and not only their business, but the environment as well.
When did Skype come out?
I don't know.
Skype was like an early 2000s thing.
Yeah.
So that's 30 years it took for the public to have the same ability to collaborate visually and to network. Yeah, dude. So early 2000s, we got 2003. That's 32 years after these guys already set up an entire thing before the internet was even really a thing, before any public idea that that's a possible thing to do.
Yeah. And it's not the first time, because they got it from fucking NASA.
Yeah.
They say
so it's
I don't know why they say
wild.
U.S. Space Agency. Wasn't it just NASA? Was it not always just been NASA?
They might have other wings of space, like different private sector space agencies.
But on that note, they have instant messaging too before anybody else gets it. They get instant messaging a good 20 years before the rest of the world.
They were so ahead of us.
I'll talk about that later.
You wonder how we get steamrolled. This is how we get steamrolled, because they're doing shit that we have no true understanding of. We don't even know it's happening.
Yeah.
They do it before, and then they release it as a product to us, and they control it.
Yeah.
You know, it's how it works.
Excuse me. Well, fucking just cut that out.
That's unbelievable.
All right, so this is just on our boy Schwabi.
Is that Schwabi and his wife? Is that wifey?
So
wifey Schwabi?
She helped found the organization with him. She's equally as much of a go-getter as he is. This talks about how he was in school while he was working in factories as a manager, and going to school after he graduated school and was working at this other factory as another manager, and it just goes on and on and on about how much school and how much work he's had. And then he starts this World Economic Forum, and he's like in his early 40s, late 30s. I didn't fucking highlight it, but yeah, he's like in his early 40s. And
look at that. That don't look like a young man right there.
Yeah, but the idea that I get, I mean, people look, I mean, he could be 30. Just right here.
No fucking way.
I don't know.
No way.
But what I get from this is just that he's kind of propped up. Like, it's not like this kid was such a go-getter going to school and going to work that he just became so successful. It's like, no, he went to all the right schools, and he worked for all the right companies, and he made all of these connections that allowed him to do this at such a young age. And to his credit, with such an ability, like, he's a super manager. He went to all these schools to be a manager. He worked at all these factories as a manager, and so he's just an ultra manager.
He was born in Germany as a German mechanical engineer and economist, best known, for the World Economic Forum. His family moved from Switzerland to Germany during the Third Reich.
Yeah.
During the Third Reich.
Yeah.
We're talking about Hitler now.
Yeah.
We're talking about crazy shit, dude.
Yeah.
So he has ties,
and man,
no doubt.
We're gonna get canceled and taken off of everything everywhere, but we're gonna have to do a fucking Hitler Holocaust episode eventually.
I don't know. We'll see what we end up with. We'll see. I mean,
we'll need to get a Jew on to
keep, to balance us out.
Yeah, keep us straight.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, no, his shit's weird. It definitely is like this fucking guy is not proper.
He's a perfect evil villain, bro.
Yeah.
He truly is. He truly is.
But that's why it's like he's a front man.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, he was groomed
he's a patsy.
and Yes, he was definitely
Like, let's make
designed.
him. Yeah.
Yes,
Designed.
he was designed.
I like that.
And I think that it's just kind of hilarious how they did him in at the end. They were just like, oh, yeah, we got to get you out of here because everybody knows because of COVID, they started looking into the World Economic Forum and seeing how we're intricately tied to this entire thing. So we got to burn you, okay?
Yeah,
so we're going to burn you and try to save the company and the idea that you birthed. And so that it's just crazy to me.
So I'm not seeing where it was, but it was at the first meeting, and now we're already on to the second meeting, so I am going to pull this away. It was at the first meeting that they discussed this book. So I personally feel like this whole meeting, though I didn't draw the connections between the people involved with this, with any of the World Economic Forum participants, I didn't connect anybody, but I think that they're extremely connected. So this book is called The Limits to Growth, and basically it outlines, we're not going to go as deep into this as we're going into this other book, but basically this outlines why the population increase is a problem. Like, it pretty much is going to blame it all on people. It's blaming it on the population. But it goes into very taxing detail about, let me get to the index, about like the natural resources running out, there being an overpopulation in the urban areas, fucking environments getting destroyed.
So this is going, we got to go back to that phrase, dude. You know, they're talking about the phrase at the beginning of the first book that you were reading. That phrase perfectly highlights what they're doing. They're talking about how if you have an ambition and have commitment, then things will organize, okay? So this whole thing that they're laying out, the future, we're going to have these shortages in resources. We're going to have all this climate shit, you know? What they're doing is they are laying out what they need for their plan for this new world order, for this new governance, for the new economy, for, I mean, shit, man. I mean, they might even be trying to pair up with like new religion and spiritual shit too. And they're laying out in exhausting detail the stipulations of this thing, and it's making it happen.
Well, they figured out right away that the problems were to their benefit.
Exactly.
They talk about it in the other book, but once you realize the problems are to your benefit, then you can make as many problems as you want, and people are going to keep coming your way for the answer.
This is how the magic that they use works. This is how it works.
So if anybody out there is crazy enough or bored enough and wants to do the fucking connections, these are all the people that were affiliated with putting together this project and writing this book. Though it was one particular man that like wrote the book. These people compiled all the information. I found it interesting that these two were married. A lot of U.S. people on here, a lot of people from other countries as well. So this is already like a world forum, if you will. This is like a group of nations getting together to discuss this topic. So in 1968, so this is 3 years prior to the starting of the World Economic Forum, which gives them a good amount of time to get it going, but also when you're setting all your goals towards this one thing and you're not wasting any fucking time, like they said in the beginning of the other book, you're making shit happen. 3 years isn't very long at all. Group of 30 individuals from 10 countries, scientists, educators, economists, and humanists, industrialists, and national and international civil servants, gathered in the Accademia de' Lincei in Rome. They met at the institution of Dr. Aurelio Pisai. That's the doctor that I believe wrote this book. An Italian industrial manager, economist, and man of vision to discuss a subject of staggering scope, the present and future predicament of man. So in 1968, they're like, oh, mankind's fucked. There's too many people.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It's
crazy.
The Club of Rome. So they formed this club called the Club of Rome. Out of this meeting grew the Club of Rome. And informal, so we're back to this word informal. I don't know why it's sticking out to me like a sore thumb, but it's like
because
everybody's the formality is like what you see in government. It's like you are restricted, you are scrutinized, people are watching you, they expect you to act a certain way. You better do and say what the people want you to, otherwise you're fucked, you're out of there. Yeah. This informal thing, it's like, oh, we can just say whatever we want. We can talk about whatever topics we want. We can pose whatever solutions we want, and nobody's going to fucking try to fire us. That's why this informal thing keeps sticking out to me. An informal organization that has been aptly described as invisible college.
Oh, gosh, dude.
So
this is it.
Its purpose is to promote new policy initiatives and action. So,
dude, this is literally insane. This is it.
Yeah. Its purposes are to foster understanding of the varied but interdependent components, economic, political, natural, and social, that make up the global systems in which we all live. To bring that new understanding to the attention of policymakers and the public worldwide. So the Club of Rome remains an informal international association with a membership that has now grown to approximately 70 people, 25 nationalities. None of its members hold public office, nor does the group seek to express any single ideological, political, or national point of view. So they say that to cover their ass.
Yeah, they have to.
Certainly have a fucking agenda that is ideological, for sure.
Yep.
They have an ideology that they're trying to fucking fulfill.
Yep.
It 100% becomes political, and it involves all nations. So how is it not ideological, political, or national?
It was all just to save their ass so that they could operate without the governments coming after them until they could inject their own people into the governments and take over silently.
So the project on the predicament of mankind. So the predicament of mankind, or the project, the intent of the project is to examine the complex of problems troubling men of all nations. Poverty in the midst of plenty, degradation of the environment, loss of faith in institutions, uncontrolled urban spread, insecurity of employment, alienation of youth, rejection of traditional values, and inflation and other monetary and economic disruptions. These seemingly divergent parts, not seemingly divergent, but whatever. These seemingly divergent parts of the world problematic, as the Club of Rome calls it, have three characteristics in common. They occur to some degree in all societies. They contain technical, social, economic, and political elements. And most important of all, they interact. Let's go back to what they are. Where's the beginning? Loss of faith. Oh, no, that's not the beginning. Troubling all men. Poverty in the midst of plenty. Degradation of the environment. Loss of faith in institutions. Uncontrolled urban spread. Insecurity of employment. Alienation of youth. Rejection of traditional values. And inflammation of money. You can blame all of those on industry, business, big government, but these people are outside of the government. They are the industry and the business. So when it comes to the degradation of the environment, who's doing that the most? The big fucking businesses and industries. Who is causing the poverty in the midst of plenty? Probably the people that are hoarding all the fucking money.
Yep.
And charging too much for the basic necessities. Loss of faith in institutions. Probably because the institutions are not worthy of your faith. Because they've been degrading the environment and causing poverty. The urban spread. It's because everybody wants to live around the industrial zones. Like, all of these things are not a world problematic. These are a you problematic, and you're trying to pass it on or off as something that it's not. So the predicament of mankind, that man can perceive the problematic, yet despite its considerable knowledge and skill, he does not understand its origins, significance, and interrelationships of its many components, and thus is unable to devise effective responses. This failure occurs in large part because we continue to examine single items in the problematic without understanding that the whole is more than the sums of its parts. That change in one element means change in others. They talk in such gibberish. That just means
it's like spells.
I know. That just means people are too fucking dumb to figure out the bigger problems that face the world. And so
we need to do it for you.
Essentially, yeah. If we could just figure out how to do that. So phase 1, figure out how to do that. They got this fucking...
Yeah. Look at it, dude. Look at it. Look at all the figures, the tables. This is their...
this is them showing all the graphs. We're going to go through a bunch of these graphs real quick because it's fucking good. Introduction paragraph. So first fucking thing, I do not wish to seem overdramatic, but I can only conclude from the information that is available to me as Secretary General that the members of the United Nations have perhaps 10 years left in which to subordinate their ancient quarrels and launch a global partnership to curb the arms race, to improve the human environment, to diffuse the population explosion. There it is. Yep. They want to fucking kill people, and to supply the required momentum to development efforts. If such a global partnership is not forged within the next decade, then I very much fear that the problems I have mentioned will have reached such staggering proportions that they will be beyond our capacity to control. Beyond our capacity to control. That's what they want. They want to control and make sure it doesn't get beyond their capacity to do that.
Yep.
So, back to the beginning. They are saying 10 years. So 1969. So by 1979, it should have all come to a fucking head if they didn't get it together. They must have got it together. They must have been doing it the whole damn time, right?
100%.
That's what this is saying. So this is the problem. You and your family and the people around you, you only think and plan for the next week, you know? And then everybody within your neighborhood, you know, everybody all together as a collective, you probably plan for the next few years. And your race and your whole nation might have a plan for your lifetime. You know, like government's really planning well out there, you know, but not far enough. The world, really few and far between, thinks about what's going to happen in the next generation and the next generation. That's what this chart is showing. Is that really people don't think enough about the problems of the future. Very few and far between are people planning for the problems of the future. That's all this is showing. And that's true. You know, people don't get together and think about, well, what is everything we're doing right now going to be doing for our children? And when you live on a small scale and you live in the fucking woods and you don't have these giant fucking communities that mean nothing, like, that's the problem. We shouldn't have these big fucking cities where everybody's sucking the great tea of mega corporation. Everybody should have little nations, and within these little nations you wouldn't have to worry about these problems of the generations down the lines because you wouldn't be impacting them so greatly. I don't know, that was a rant. I just want to hit all these graphs. Really, they're good graphs. So world fertilizer consumption, oddly, is their first one. But they're talking about how, you know, it kind of was at a steady rate from 1938 to 1950, 1948, but then it starts fucking taking off. And so from 52 to 68, it peaked. And they're projecting that, you know, by another 10 years, it's just going to keep going up and up and up, and we're not going to be able to keep up with it. This exponential growth is insane. Eventually, we're going to run out of nitrogen. We're going to run out of phosphate. Like, how are we going to keep up with it? The world population in urban areas, more developed regions, we're like at a steady pace, but less developed regions are actually, the population's going up quicker. So it's not even like a matter of, oh, well, we just need to fucking develop more, fucking develop less, because either way it's kind of crazy growth. But like the less developed people are having more babies, and this is only, they're projecting again because they're only up to 1970. So
like they're trying to hijack natural cycles is what it is. They're
right.
using these graphs to scare people.
Right.
When this type of shit has happened already. Like nations, like what happened with Rome. What happened with a lot of these other, countries and civilizations. They all go through these same problems, all right? And then there's a natural cycle that happens that balances shit back out. Like, obviously, it can't go all the way up to the top. It will balance itself out.
Right. But that's their problem, is they're scared.
They're scared of what? It balancing itself out?
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
dude,
because they have all of the things. They have all the money to lose. They have all the businesses and corporations to lose. They have all the... I mean, if you want to be graceful, play devil's advocate, they have all the employees to look after. They have all the environmental concerns that they're actually making good impact on. And so if their shit collapsed, they couldn't do any of that anymore. And thousands of people would be out of jobs. People would die because their products are life-saving. Like...
These types of collapses, though, they don't happen like that.
Right.
They really don't, ever.
Right.
So they get people drummed up with fear.
Because where you have a collapse in one area, you have the rise in the other area.
Yes. Then naturally, people find solutions. People do. These politicians and these World Economic Forum freaking goons and all this other bullshit.
Yeah, and when
all they're
people
trying
do
to
it,
do
then you
is
get a good
capitalize
solution.
on it. Yes, that's when you get solutions that last. That's when you get change in the culture. That's when you get values to arise that help people to stave off any types of issues from happening. When you get this interjection from the government, when you get this interjection from these private corporations and these rich entitled fucks, that's when it becomes an entirely different thing. And then they end up stripping what? Your rights away. Then they end up doing what? Stripping your privacy away. But this is the game plan. And this is how they do it. They do it through fear. They do it through a shitload of money and funding. And they do it through this writing. The way they write all this shit is literally a spell.
It's jargon. You really gotta think
jargon,
about it.
Yes, and what they talk themselves into circles. It's cyclical. It keeps looping, and all that's doing is it's subliminally reinforcing the idea, and it's making it truth, and it's hijacking your brain and turning it into belief. And then you automatically, without even thinking about it, you're already enacting. You're starting to act in ways that are in congruence with it, and you end up birthing it. That first statement that was made is literally black magic.
Yeah.
It's black magic, and it's occult teachings from fucking Egypt and Babylon and fallen ones.
Yep.
And these families and these elites, they know this shit. They know it, and they use it. And they profit off of it. And we're pretty ignorant on the shit, but more shepherd's pie here to show you.
Yeah. So
that this is all just a rich man's game, dog.
Yeah.
It's a rich man's game.
And
you gotta be aware of it.
You're just
and if
the
you're
character
aware of
they're
it,
playing.
Then you can play within the game in a way that doesn't make you a victim.
Or outside of the game somehow. So this is talking about growth of money over time. And this isn't even really pertaining to our conversation. This is just math showing you that if you put $10 under your mattress each year, then you're only going to have this much after 60 years. Like, it's not doing anything because it's just $10 under the mattress. But if you have a savings account with 7% interest, then you're getting this exponential growth over time. Now, I only draw attention to this because later on they talk about your duty to your shareholder is to make them more than this 7% because they could be making 7% on government bonds. Your stakeholder has no vested interest in you if you're not making them more than 7% because they could be making that much elsewhere easily.
Yeah, off of the debt.
Yep.
That's what bonds are, is selling debt.
So they talk about how to make that money with the debt, like you're just talking about. Taxing the nations. This is keeping the fucking birth rates down. There's like a fucking
good
chart on,
freaking nuts. That's like ovaries. That's like a reproductive system that they're dude, literally.
It really does. But they're saying
it's all magic, bro. I'm telling you. This is all black magic.
They're saying over time, if you have fucking more deaths per year without births, then you're gonna have less population. If you have more births, less deaths, then you'll have a growth of population, is all that last one said.
Thank you for the fucking just infinite wisdom.
Yeah.
Mr. Schwab.
So the industrial production, like, this is part of the problem, is the stuff. Like, people existed back here without all of this stuff. We didn't need it. And, like, there's the argument to be made that, like, war drives everything, right? So, like, we can't just sit at this time and be peaceful people with fucking what we had in the 30s, because China's going to develop something bigger, badder, stronger, and they're going to come try to take us over. So we got to keep trying to compete technologically. That drives innovation, that drives industry. So then you have this industry growth. But, like, how much of it is for self-preservation and safety, and how much of it is to line these guys' pockets? You know, like, I keep coming back to that idea with our current government that, like, why don't we get out of everywhere else and serve our own best self-interest? And, like, if the idea is, like, our security, you know, because we need to be involved with all these other countries like China and Russia and Israel, because it's within our best interest to make sure everybody's happy. And it's like, really, if we just fucking kept out of it, you know, we had a few friends, but didn't fucking bend over backwards for everybody, and kept out of world affairs and just fucking maintained our own shit and just really invested in defense, like just our defense, defending ourselves, made it so that nobody could fucking get into us. Like, there was this idea that Israel had that fucking iron curtain. They were impenetrable until they started getting penetrated. But, like, why can't we have something that fucking renowned, that, like, nobody's gonna fuck with America because they just keep to themselves behind their little fucking unbreachable defense?
The thing is now it's kind of not possible with how everything has happened already.
Well, yeah.
Like, there was a time with the United States where something like that may have been possible, but
right here
now it's literally impossible.
Right here was the time.
Because all of our interests are so spread out in our defense, and it comes from fear, really. It's really a fear that these, like, generals and these you've got these, like, military groups and the government. They have fear that, you know, China's doing something, so they need intel, and they also have major like economic trade routes and deals and partnerships, secretly or officially, that they need to keep in line. Because if you were to enact what you just said, it'd probably lead to the total collapse of the United States in less than a week.
Yeah.
In less than 1 week.
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet that we would have the wolves at the door. Very
well,
quickly.
not only that, but people would be fucking freaking out from the inside. There'd be civil war.
There would be a lot going on. And it's kind of unfortunate at this point. But, yeah. I don't know. I don't see how something like that could be really possible with the state of everything right now. I could see that we could change our policy on things, and changing the policy on things and maintaining it. I mean, we do have a good military. We do have, a lot of relationships around the world. Like, if maybe we stopped exploiting the shit out of certain things and we started putting money towards other things, then I could see that we could make a huge shift, and that over the course of like a generation, we could kind of get to a place where we could do something like that. But
Right.
I doubt that'll ever happen. There's too much money, too much fear.
Why would they have given a shit about chromium in the 70s? In 69.
I mean, it was the advent of like computing and stuff of that nature, so they probably just had a projection about technology, and they saw that technology was just going to keep increasing, so the need for
look at this one.
Technological materials.
They're projecting out to 2200.
Yep.
Like 1970 to 2000. They're like, it's not going to do
years.
anything. And then by 2050, it's going to be this big. This is 95 years out. Why are they projecting 200 years out like they fucking...
You know what they can do is they can lie about it. They can make that chart go all the way to the roof, and that's all people see, and they're like, "Oh shit!"
Like you don't know the world's reserves. Like maybe this is the known reserves, but you could find more. We could, by fucking 200 years in the future, we could develop a way to make it. We could
develop a way around it to where it's not needed. It could become obsolete.
Yeah, they're big on the chromium, and maybe if I read this whole thing, I'd understand why it's so important. But another thing on there was all the non-renewable resources and the rate at which they're fucking depleting. So, yeah, basically, this is all of these graphs just talking about the exponential growth of all of these things that we're going to run out of. Yeah. And due to population, essentially. A lot of other things are mentioned in here, like governments and them not working together, essentially, them not cooperating to their best ability. You've got resources in one place and excess, and a lack of resources in another place, and those people aren't working together to share the resources. You got people making food, other people starving. They're not working together. So, like,
how much do you want to bet that the in terms of the population, how much do you want to bet that Bill Gates
he's in this
had
book.
A meeting with someone in Davos before he started really taking his stance with pushing vaccines and population control?
I don't know. We'll see when he first pokes his head. I think it's like 19.
I don't think that he inspired it. I don't think that he inspired that incentive in the World Economic Forum. I think the World Economic Forum incentivized him to that undertaking.
I just remember seeing his picture in here. Now I'm curious about when he pops up.
Because he doesn't have that TED Talk where he's going on about vaccinations and how if we do a really good job vaccinating the public, we can see a 15% decrease in population.
Yeah.
Literally talking about depopulation agenda.
With
that
vaccination.
With vaccination. He had a meeting with one of these fucks and bought in hook, line, and sinker.
So the Davos, I might refer to it as the Davos, the fucking meeting. The World Economic Forum meeting had gotten really popular. Like, it got really good praise after the first one, but participation went down the second year.
Ooh, that's kind of strange, right? Do you think that there were people that were like, I see what you're doing here and I don't support it, so we're not coming back?
No, I think it was. I think they might have had a hand in it because it says right here invitations were personal and non transferable. Maintaining exclusivity would remain a steadfast practice at the forum and a hallmark of adults' meetings. So, like, maybe they just didn't invite enough people. I don't fucking know.
Well, I
but
figure
it
that they're going to
spikes after
re-invite the
that.
people that they invited the first year, you know?
It spikes after the second year. So, the second year they focused on Europe, reflecting widespread enthusiasm for the enlargement of the European communities from 6 to 9 countries, with the addition of Denmark, Ireland, and the United Kingdom. So, they're just praising that we've gotten all these communities in Europe into the World Economic Forum. Countries working together, which is great. I mean, honestly, it is. But the second Davos marked the first time that the forum welcomed a head of government, Pierre Werner, president of Luxembourg, who presented the so-called Werner Plan that laid the foundation for the European Monetary Union and single currency.
Yeah, so there we go.
And, like, yeah, we know they all use the euro now, but
dude,
there is an idea of a world currency still getting pushed, and the euro is the beginning of that, and now the digital currency is the next step. But other distinguished speakers included Werner von Braun, Deputy Associate Administrator at the U.S. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, in Washington, D.C., and one of the most celebrated rocket scientists in the world. He would later become director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center and the chief architect of the Saturn V booster rocket that helped with
Don't say one of the most renowned Nazis to ever
Don't
have
say
existed.
That he was one of the highest ranking fucking SS officers in the Nazi party. Don't say that this dude killed and tortured more people than you could ever fucking count. And he probably laughed and jerked off about it. No, praise the shit out of him. Write a whole fucking paragraph sucking that Nazi dick. Look at that. That's crazy. That's fucking insane. I had to highlight in that in red because I thought that was so crazy. How you gonna go fucking praise a Nazi like that?
Color coding our highlights, are we? Red for angry.
No, I just gotta stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny.
Let's see. Discussion at the second symposium at this.
Yeah, this is.
That's a lot of shit.
This is a little bit more than you would have initially thought before taking a deep dive into something like this. Like, I feel like a lot of conspiracy people, they kind of hear about it and they understand what it's about, you know, so they they hop on board with the idea of it because you see the patterns and you see the how it's playing out. But when you go into a little bit more of a deep dive like this and you really see kind of exactly what the fuck's going on, it's I mean, dude, we're looking at like Dr. Evil's like business here. You know, like we're looking at it and how it's all spelled out and just and they publicize it. You know, look at these pictures, dog. They're fucking they're cataloging the events of dominating the world and ushering in the new world order.
Yeah,
that's literally what this is. It's like, oh yeah, these are going to be the playbacks once we're finally at the end and we're all sitting on our thrones together.
European Management Symposium. Like, they're managing Europe. They want to manage Europe.
And the thing with that currency shit, I mean, dude, what they did is they had a goal and they made it small scale. They were like, all right, the end goal is the world. We want to have a one world currency. But for now, we have Europe under control, and we can use that as a mini type of simulation test. So if we can get Europe together and get one currency for Europe, we can just scale this. and we can bring it to the world. And that's what I think really has been happening the entire time.
Well, you see throughout the years that they are granted more and more of that ability to test things in different countries, because more countries come in and they're willing to do whatever to keep getting whatever it is they're getting from the World Economic Forum. They say that it's just this information, this technology, this whatever, but who knows?
I think they just like have their people come in and they install them in the government and in like key places. They probably do like some type of like statistical breakdown where they kind of audit the would-be members, where they kind of audit them and they see the pinnacle places where if they injected their own people with their ideologies, where they could see economic growth, where they could see population decline, and all of these benefits that someone who's leading a country or somebody that's trying to join this forum, why would you want to join it? You're trying to join it for what they're trying to sell, which is this idea of lessening civil strife, lessening government rebellion, really, any type of protesting, any type of, or economic issues. If you're having economic issues with your industry, so they're advertising it out like that. And then what do? They're giving you, people. They're like, send us these guys in your government, we'll train them up, and this is what you can expect will happen, once they're, put into use in your system.
Bro, they straight up fucking spell out a coup that they had happen.
Read that shit.
We'll get there. At the third European Management Symposium, the forum broadened its European focus under the theme "Shaping Your Future in Europe." Shaping your future. This Davos meeting was held under the honorary sponsorship of His Royal Highness Prince Bernard of the Netherlands. So, a prince of the Netherlands sponsored this meeting because they're not for profit. They don't, like, they'll take donations, but they're not making money. So royalty sponsored them. So this is when Aurelio Pasai, that Italian industrialist, delivered the speech summarizing limits to growth. So it wasn't until the third year I was mistaken. Book had been commissioned by the Club of Rome, so it doesn't really say who wrote it, but it says that the Club of Rome was a think tank that he founded, and he served as its first president. Participants spontaneously took the initiative to draft a code of ethics based on Schwab's stakeholder concept. The text was unanimously approved in the final session of the symposium. So this is the code of ethics, broski. The purpose, it's A, B, and C, but B is 4 parts. The purpose of professional management is to serve clients, shareholders, workers, and employees, as well as societies, and to harmonize the different interests of the stakeholders. Sounds good enough? The management has to serve its clients. It has to satisfy its clients' needs and give them the best value. Competition among companies is the usual and accepted way. Notice they want to do what's accepted and usual of ensuring the clients receive the best value choice. The management's aim is to translate new ideas and technological progress into commercial products and services. Again, sounds good enough. The management has to serve its investors by providing a return on its investment, higher than the return on government bonds. There's where it is. This higher return is necessary to integrate a risk premium into the capital costs. The management is the shareholders' trustee. So they're basically saying that, like, the shareholders aren't going to be shareholders if the management isn't making them more money than government bonds. The government the management has to serve its employees because in a free society, leadership must integrate the interests of those who are led. In particular, the management has to ensure the continuity of employees, the improvement of real income, and the humanization of the workplace. So that caught my eye because it really is just saying the most important thing to management is to ensure the continuity of employees, which means make sure that people are breeding generation after generation. You want them to keep coming in, so you want them breeding, moderately healthy, workable, trainable, not too smart because they're not going to work. You don't want them to develop shit to put you out of business. I don't know. What does continuity of employees mean? Like, how do you make sure...
Like, just keep making sure that you can... I think that basically what that means is lower the bar as much as you can. It feels like Amazon. That's what it feels like. It feels like lower the bar as much as you can so that you can just keep a steady flow of employees.
Yeah,
because if your employees organize and if your employees, do any type of striking, then it will ruin it will topple the whole house of cards. So you need to be able to ensure a continuity of employees, and by doing so, you would lower the bar and make it so that they're easily replaceable. You would make it so that they're easily fireable. You'd make so many laws that they have to, no matter what, they're breaking one. And you would surveil them to the point where you could, know everything they do. Pick one thing when you need to, whenever they stop being useful. Get rid of them, and then get the next one in.
I also think
that's my idea of it.
I think that's pretty good. I also like this at the beginning. The management has to serve its employees because in a free society, which means, to me, the management is trying to imitate the free society. Like, it has to serve its employees' needs because in a free society, leadership must integrate the interests of those who are led. Meaning, the employees are those who are led. And so to put on that guise of a free society, the management has to meet the needs of the employees, which is real income improvement, humanization of the workplace, and continuity of employees. Excuse me. Management has to serve society. It must assume the role of a trustee of the material universe for future generations. It has to use the immaterial and material resources at its disposal in an optimal way. It has to continuously expand the frontiers of knowledge in management and technology. It has to guarantee that its enterprise pays appropriate taxes to the community in order to allow the community to fulfill its objectives. The management also has to take its own knowledge and experience, or has to make its own knowledge and experience available to the community. So I thought
that feels to me, that's like this idea, dude, of never-ending expansion and growth.
Yeah.
Like they're telling you right now what they're trying to
you
tell
want a factory planet.
Is that we're running out of resources. They're telling you we have a problem with humanity, and then their solution is to never-endingly expand industry and business. That's the goal of their managers, is to run through all the resources, and then we're going to blame it on the population and cull the population to whatever suits us best so that we can keep this pyramid scheme going. This shit's fucking disgusting.
You will see this happening a lot, where speakers will come and they'll talk about something while you're like, actually, yeah, that is a real problem. And then nothing comes of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
They do the opposite.
Yeah. They use that as just, some type of metric to add into their plan.
Right. So finally, the management can achieve the above objectives through the economic enterprise for which it is responsible. So you can fucking you can do A and B by running your business essentially most effectively.
Yeah.
For this reason, it is important to ensure the long-term existence of the enterprise. So you can do everything you need to only if you keep your enterprise going.
Yeah. The enterprise is their literal
it's
the
the
like
most
their God.
important thing. Yes, it's the most important thing, because without the enterprise, you can't provide for people. You can't sway things to be
they want to become
right
God,
way, the
bro.
right way. Yeah,
they want to replace God. It's all about replacing God and bringing in this machine, bringing in this that's what this is like an algorithm, dude.
Yeah.
They came up with an algorithm. They're selling it, and people are buying into it because it sounds good, and it's ruining the world. And then they're blaming the ruining of the world on the weak, and then they are taking advantage of the weak to keep themselves in power. It's fucking disgusting shit, bro. It's crazy shit.
Yeah. The long-term existence cannot be ensured without sufficient profitability. Thus, profitability is the necessary means to ensure or to enable the management to serve its clients, shareholders, employees, and society. So it's saying right there, number one, profit. Profit above all else. Profit is the key.
You know, the industrial age, dude. This industrial age is the sickness, dude. It truly is. It's not capitalism. This is just perversion. What's going on here?
And so
this idea of never-ending expansion at all costs and serving these mega corporations because they are such pillars of society. It's like they're not supposed to fucking be.
Right. The reason we have all these problems is because you people are so fucking large.
Yeah, literally. And it's like not all businesses are supposed to stand forever. You're not supposed to stand forever. You're not supposed to endlessly grow. You're supposed to fill a need.
Yep.
And then once that need's met, I mean, you can still exist, but you're not going to grow endlessly.
Yeah.
The only way you can grow endlessly is to cut out your freaking
crush
heart.
all the competition
And
absorb everybody and everything. Like, there's a reason.
And sell your soul, dude.
Yeah.
You sell your soul.
So
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, see if they have fucking souls. We're not here to judge. We'll actually pray for their souls because they are up to some nasty shit. In 1973, the foundation began to expand its activities beyond organizing the annual Davos meeting. To add value to its services, the forum launched 3 initiatives aimed at capturing and disseminating knowledge through publications, developing regional and country-focused activities, and creating communities to expand and deepen the discussion of pressing global issues. So these issues that they think are most pressing, they're now like, all right, instead of just this annual week-long meeting, we also need publications. We also need to develop region and country country-focused activities, which are like round tables. They're like the activities are broad, but they do talk about them a lot. The creating of communities, and there's a lot of different communities that they've created. So not only is there this World Economic Forum, but now they have many subsidiary fucking communities that are all part of this same thing. So it's like, oh no, they're not connected. That's not the World Economic Forum. Yeah, bro, they're all fucking connected.
Yeah. They're networked up.
And creating communities to expand and deepen the discussion. So they're just creating communities. Like, what kind of communities? Like fucking LGBTQ AI plus communities?
Yeah.
Like that kind of
And
community.
it creates discussions and discourse in the public, and then you get corporations ushering in DEI initiatives
Yeah.
as the solution. That's what that, dude. That
Yeah.
is legitimately what it is.
Yeah. So launch of
Insanity.
Synopsis, a documentation service that provided European business leaders with information on public policy and government strategies. So now there's a documentation service. It sounds like there's a magazine, there's a newsletter that comes out, and it's a synopsis of what the World Economic Forum's talking about and what they want these people to know.
All of these individual businesses, public policies, and government strategy on all these. So they're taking these individual nations and they're creating a synopsis. They're creating a presentation of the information of these governments and of these places, and they're using it to they're presenting it in a fashion to get people on board with it.
Yeah. Holding of 2 roundtables, the first on Europe at the European Commission in Brussels in May, and the second on Germany and Bonn in November, to promote interactions between the business community and the European governments, including the European Commission. I don't know why I had that on there. A lot of fucking commissions involved. Creation of the European Club of Cooperative Management, the first high-level community of the forum. So that's one of the communities. Next year was the oil crisis. So this is when I said they had a crisis and it was in their favor. So in 1974 to 1975, the oil crisis plunged the world into a serious economic recession. European Management Forum was not immune to the impact of the downturn. It weathered the storm. Klaus Schwab wrote the annual report. Excuse me. Although the looming signs of stagnation and recession in the European and international economy led to budget cuts in a number of companies, perceptible mainly in the plunge of professional training, the European Management Forum did not suffer from this tendency. To the contrary, it seems that the policy of the foundation to offer services fostering above all better understanding of the European and international political, economical, and social development meets with a higher response in these periods of crisis. The economic situation has had an influence on the forum in as much as special efforts were undertaken to reduce overall costs and to boost quality and utility of its different activities. So basically, what happened was the Middle East withheld oil.
Yeah.
There was fucking wars going on.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, Iran, they didn't want to sell their oil. So the world was broke on oil. We didn't have any oil. And so oil prices are going up, and because everything is based on the use of oil, all the transportation, it affected the cost of everything. So the cost of everything going up gets everybody freaking out. Everybody's having a hard time. Everybody's businesses are crashing. And though it's affecting everybody negatively, it only affected the World Economic Forum positively because they have the answers. They're these ultra managers. They know how to fucking deal with it. They could probably come up with a solution. So everybody looks to them to say, what do we do? And they're like, this is pretty fucking good for us when there's a world crisis.
Yeah, we can sell.
Everybody looks at
answer.
us. Yeah. So the Roman Catholic Archbishop spoke at this 74 or the 4th, and he was talking about they wanted him to stop using the spokesperson of the 2/3 of the humanity who suffered from the unfair distribution of nature's resources. In his address, he predicted that developing countries could someday challenge the clash with the leading economic powers. Let's hope by the Almighty God that this confrontation will not force them into using arms. So he's basically saying that like these poorer countries that we're just not giving shit to, they're gonna rise up and fucking try to fight against us. And as a good Roman Catholic, he's looking out for everybody. He just wants to help the needy, which I can agree with. But this like fear mongering, I don't know what that's about. Jacques Cousteau, I highlighted that in there. Jacques Cousteau is just speaking about preserving the ocean, basically. He gave a speech about supernatural authority that the presidents already existed for, to whom they would transfer the respective rights and sovereignty of the fucking... Wow. It is of decisive importance that these governments promulgate laws and coordinated efforts. Promulgate laws and coordinate efforts with the objective to preserve the oceans and guarantee their rational usufruct. What about that one? The rational usufruct. The legit right to employ, gain, benefit, or promote from or profit from somebody else's property, so long as that property is not damaged. Jacques Cousteau just wants to save the ocean. I thought that was cool. I didn't know Jacques Cousteau was there. Since its inception, networking among participants has been an important feature for the forum's activities. So they're saying, because of this picture, a huge part, one of the biggest parts, and they reiterate it over and over again, and I've highlighted it multiple times, is that these people are meeting each other for the first time, and these are powerful people all across the world. So imagine, like, say for instance, you're doing business, and you've been doing business in America for a decade, and finally now, like Tommy said, it's your time. Your sales are going down. It's not great. Well, you come to the forum and you meet this fucking top advertiser from another country that's like, oh, hey, I'm really fucking good at advertising. I can get people to buy your shit all over again. And then you meet another guy from another country that's like, oh, hey, actually, we've never sold your product in my country, so you can get a bunch of sales over here. Like, you start making these connections. It's really good.
Get on your knees for Papa Claus.
Well, no, they all just do things for each other like this. It's the Davos way, or the spirit of Davos.
It's only they only do it in the spirit of Davos.
Yeah, which is
it's not out of the goodness of their heart. Yeah. It's not out of any other guiding principle other than to expand endlessly.
It's to achieve these goals that they have unified together. We all agree these are the goals? Okay, yeah, we can help each other. Let's help each other. As long as we agree these are the goals. So, Davos goes global. The forum entered into its first official cooperative agreement with a specialized agency in the UN system, UNIDO, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, which is headquartered in Vienna and has its primary objective the promotion and acceleration of industrial development in developing countries and economies in transition, as well as the support of international industrial cooperation. So that doesn't sound too bad. They help developing countries, they help countries in turmoil, and they help communication between international industries. That's fine. UNIDO doesn't sound too bad. But when you're like, oh, hey, this fucking organization that has really wide fucking scope of influence, now they're collaborating with the forum, gives the forum a lot more influence. That's all I'm saying. They have a really fucking wide scope of influence and power, and they just keep saying it over and over again. This is
what they've done is they've just found a way to, like, legally do this plan. You know what I mean?
Well, like, so my idea,
if this was any, like, single government trying to do this, you know, and like, or any single, like, corporation that was trying to do this, then it would be a problem. You know, like, this would be something that could be attacked based off of just the fact that this is a threat. You know.
Well, my idea was that we should start to do this. Like,
I mean,
as we were talking about the Freemasons before and like their ways, and then now that I'm researching, I'm like, man, we should just operate like this. You know, like, how about when we get some people, once we get a little bit of a following and like a fucking some shit going on, we'll operate the hive mind in this fashion, where like, hey, you want to fucking be part of the Patreon? Like, Patreon's $5, and you're getting that at a discount. It's normally $10, but you get it for $5 because you agree that this is the thing, right? And we're gonna fucking give you some free shit and hook you up, and we're gonna do the XYZ, but like, this is the agenda, and we have a fucking agenda, and we get it done. Dude. Why not have an agenda and get it done? Because
I don't think that that's the answer. I don't think that the answer is to create these systems like this to get your shit done.
What if it's to create a system to undo the system? What if that's the only goal, is to undo the system?
There is a system to undo the system. There is already. It's just one that people, for some reason, don't like to look at seriously anymore nowadays. It's follow Christ, dude.
Yeah.
That's the system. Follow Christ. There's already a written handbook on how to solve all this shit. Like,
you're not wrong.
These are people that have forsaken this shit. And they've put business and, their own personal desires ahead of everybody else's. This is a symptom of like, abandoning God. This is what happens. You create institutions that are like God. You create organizations that have so much power that they can influence the world in ways that, they shouldn't be able to. This shouldn't be a thing. Right. Like, we should have cooperation, but it needs to be more organic. Yeah. This is like only exclusive to certain people. I can't come join this fucking group.
Yeah.
This is
you could if your business was big enough. You could if your business was big enough.
Oh, no, I can't. It's only for a certain sector of people, and I guarantee that frickin', some local mom and pop shop, their business, maybe they make good money. Maybe they have a good little thing going on. It doesn't matter. They're not a fucking Fortune 500 company, or they're not, in the running to knock down crazy money and expand endlessly. So they're not invited. You have to already be a snake in order to get here. You've already done it, And then once they've got you frickin' they've got you, what's the word that cops do when they like read somebody?
Your Miranda rights?
No, they read. It's like an unfair reading of you. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know how I can't fucking remember what the fuck that's called. I don't know. But you can't just join this fucking group if you're anybody, and that exclusivity is the key to their shit.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to do that shit to fucking cause any change in this world, dude. We just need to do what we are doing. We need to expose shit and be open about it, and people are going to resonate with that, especially nowadays. Nowadays, people are waking up at a rate that's fucking insane. How about they make a graph about that?
I just think it would be cool. I just think it would be cool that if, instead of just talking to people and getting a bunch of people talking, because that's our goal, is to just get some people to talk to.
and to follow Christ.
Yeah. Well, we're already following Christ. We can follow Christ without a podcast. I'm saying, like, the point of the podcast.
No, them.
Oh,
get them to follow Christ.
Yeah, let's help some people fucking follow.
We follow Christ, and this is how we view the world. A lot of people's issue with following Christ and becoming Christian is they think it's boring, or they think that they can't live a life, or they think that,
the real world has gotten so much more interesting.
And it is not at all like that. Like, look, the world is insane when you start opening your eyes and you start following Christ. Yeah. Like, everything opens up. It becomes way more magical.
It's like a Marvel movie.
Yeah. And it gives you the eyes to see, and it gives you armor of God to walk through it without it destroying you. And that is valuable. That's what I want to give people. I don't,
Yeah.
like, fuck making some organization trying to, dude, they would just co-opt us.
Yeah. You'd get infiltrated.
That's what they would do. We would get co-opted.
It'd be like fucking Turning Point.
It needs to be literally.
We'd end up like Turning Point.
Yeah, with wives that are freaking just absolute sleeper cells and just feeding information back to to Bebe.
All right, so they this 5th year they published their first brochure, institutional brochure, in which they describe themselves. The European Management Forum is an independent, self-financing, not-for-profit foundation aligned with the strategic needs of the top decision-makers of the European business. The document outlines 7 ways in which the forum serves business leaders through its programs. It observes the European and international economic environment, so it's watching.
Yep.
It observes new trends and follows closely their development. It's watching. Well, no, that's new trends is it's trendy. It's up to date.
It discovers new trends.
Yeah.
So it's basically what it means by it discovers means that it creates.
Yeah.
It creates new trends and follows them closely in their development. So it's
True.
interjecting, That's
Yeah.
like a action.
It widens the horizon by pointing at the connections. So
No, it doesn't widen the horizon. You know what it does? It narrows the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
It tells you what direction this is going.
Yeah.
It gives you the future of it. It gives you the options.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to be able to read this shit. Like, they're telling you.
It facilitates contacts at the highest level.
Oh yeah.
So
get you guys to meet up.
The members are the most elite people. A breakthrough year with 860 participants. Those are the most elite people on the planet. Those 860 participants. Yep. Like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
It brings together leaders from business and government. So when we're saying they're all working together,
that's fascist, by the way. You know what I mean? Like
business and government, yeah.
Yes. When business and government get in bed together, that's literally fascism.
Yeah.
Like socialist fascist fucking ideology. That's what these fuckers are about, dude. They want to bring it to the world.
It helps to find new business relations. So all these businesses are combining and integrating together. It integrates its participants actively into creative programs. So it's gonna.
What is a program? It's in the actual like English language, like the spell of the English language. It's a program.
Yeah.
So they're taking these members and they're putting them into programs. So they're getting them to think the way they want them to think. They're getting them to act the way they want them to act. For the goal, dog. For the goal.
Yeah. So, year 1, they had 1 symposium. By year 5, they had 13. Year 1, they had 440 participants. It dipped down the second year, but then took back off. By year 5, they had 860 participants.
These fuckers love their graphs, dude.
Right.
Fucking nerds.
And it just, like, keeps growing. They had to start another fucking club later
another
on.
graph.
Yeah, the Davos Club. A few years later, they had to start the Davos Club because there was so many members. They wanted to maintain exclusivity, so they had like an upper echelon of these upper echelon people.
Dude, holy fucking shit! It's a pyramid scheme, dude.
Yeah,
it's a fucking pyramid scheme. It's narrow at the top, wide at the bottom, and you're always trying to get to that fucking top, dude. You're always trying to get to that top. The fucking, what's that shit on your dollar bill, dog?
Yeah, right.
That's what this is. That's what this is. Novus Ordo Seclorum. That's what this is. It's, bro, fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
To cope with structure.
Exposed here on Shepherd's Pie.
Yeah, they exposed it themselves.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
gave it to the light of Christ. And this is it.
To cope with structural changes, genuine top executives must act as politicians. What? Wait, no? What? You're not fucking politicians.
Yeah.
You're fucking managers of businesses. Stop it. But these businesses end up having more fucking money than some countries, you know?
Yep.
Like when
That's
it gets
it.
so topsy-turvy like that. So it's like basically like the realization of that. It's like, oh, we as business owners clearly are
We can
running
have our own countries. Yeah.
It's like we're clearly running the world. We might as well get together and run it.
Crazy.
It is their task to manage the company's act as politicians. That is to say, as foreign affairs and not as domestic affairs politicians. It is their task to manage the company's relations with its political, economic, technical, and social environment. As a consequence, the company must increasingly adapt the conventional principles of a foreign policy proper. This includes cultivating the cooperation with the relevant institutions, looking constantly and consciously for new opportunities of coalitions to strengthen its own position, and striving to influence as much as possible in a positive sense the course of things through anticipatory or curative measures. That was a bunch of word salad.
What is curative? What is curative?
So
Because anticipatory means that they're running simulations on thing. Okay. What does curative mean?
No. Anticipatory is you do it before the problem occurs. Curative means you do it after the problem occurs.
Okay. So or curative,
anticipatory is
you're
before.
Curating. You're curating. Like if you're asking for like someone to curate a valuable antique for you, it means that they go out and acquire it. You know, they go out and find it. They go out and make that happen. They become a facilitator for it. So what they're talking about is through anticipatory, which means that they anticipate these issues, and then or through curative measures by making it happen. By making the shit happen.
Maybe.
To that end, it's necessary to look at the environment not in an isolated way, or, in other words, to consider only the economic realities. So they look at it in a multifaceted way.
To defend the foundations of the economic order towards the outside, the responsible executives must first be willing to make active political and social commitments. But to go back, as a consequence, the company must increasingly this includes cultivating the cooperation with the relevant institutions. So this is, again, making all of these people work together. Like we say everybody, they're all working together. You have to adopt foreign policy. This is where we're at in the U.S., where we're like, why the fuck are we catering to everybody else's bullshit? We're the U.S. It's like, nope, because as a company, to exist internationally, we all have to fucking have the same policies. So we want to adapt each other's foreign policy. You got this cooperating with the looking yeah, no, fuck all that. So I think we might have to. I was fucking not expecting us to be taking this long on it. We might have to cut this into a lot more than 2 episodes.
You mean? Look at how much shit you got.
I know, man. And we're only at 95, and I've gone up to somewhere in the 80s. I'm up to 88. I'm ready to call it here for now, though, man. We need to split
100%.
this into more episodes.
Yeah,
So I thought this was going to be a two-parter. We might milk this into 3 or 4. Don't know. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see, because we got a good gist of what exactly is going on. This is
I don't know how much of the history we need to go through.
I don't think that we necessarily need to go through all of it. I think
there's
what we have
more
done
interesting bits
already is showing. Then we could take those interesting bits and do something with the interesting bits. I don't think we need to go through everything.
But we have.
I think that what we have gone through. 100%, 100%. We didn't even get into the Young Global Leaders Initiative. We didn't get into Agenda 2025, Agenda 2030, Agenda 2050.
The Great Reset.
We didn't get into
COVID.
the Great Reset. Like, what we have read, though, leads directly into that. So we have ourselves a foundation on what this WEF, this obscure thing that has been talked about now since COVID. It's been a thing, yes, since the 70s, but since COVID is when it became more mainstream and when it started getting the lashback from the conspiracy community at large.
No,
it started getting social media traction.
It's one of those things that I was saying, like, our parents didn't tell us about what was happening.
They didn't know about this shit.
No, they must have. That's what I'm saying.
They did
had
not,
to have
bro.
been on the news.
They had no
once
idea.
or twice. Like, it was a fucking... It's a super highly renowned thing. They would have fucking heard about it.
No, dude. Our parents didn't know jack shit about this.
Our parents, at least, especially mine and your dad, paid attention to shit growing up.
Not like this, dude. And the only reason that this became relevant was because they had a plan and they started enacting it. And the plan was global. It
has been relevant.
COVID.
They're not hiding in the shadows. It didn't just first come into the public zeitgeist and COVID. They started to be held accountable for being crazy motherfuckers for the first time around COVID.
The general public had zero clue these fuckers existed,
always knew. I'm telling you, they always knew. Our generation didn't know. Our generation had no fucking clue.
Our parents had no fucking clue about this, dog. They had zero idea about this. Zero. I guarantee it. This is a modern unveiling of this thing. This is not something that's been known about that they knew was fucking out there doing shit like this. They had no idea. They were sold the lie that allowed them to be asleep and let these fuckers take control.
They talk about creating publication syndicate, news outlets. They talk about creating their own news outlets so that the public perception of the World Economic Forum is positive. And maybe it was more so in Europe because it started out as the Europe fucking management symposium or whatever the fuck. But they were broadcasting themselves so that they had a good image.
They didn't broadcast shit really about themselves. What they did is they made it public to people that it was relevant to be public to. It wasn't dude, this shit got busted out during COVID. This wasn't fucking on your local news. Oh, the WEF.
It would have been occasionally as a propaganda scheme, is what I'm saying.
Very occasionally, it would not have.
It wouldn't have registered to anybody ever because they didn't have the internet. All they had was the news, and the news was look at the Great World Economic Forum helping out the world, and it would have been great World Economic Forum. What do I care? It never registers to anybody. Doesn't stick. So you're right. Nobody knew about it.
Exactly.
But it definitely was on the news. It was in everybody's face. It wasn't hidden. They weren't hiding. They were talking about
nobody had this fucking
the whole
handbook.
time. No, but the whole time they're talking about it like this. From the first time they put out their first pamphlet, they're like, this is exactly what we do, and this is who we are. And so they're not hiding it. Every time they talk about themselves, they're not hiding anything. Never been hidden.
Most people also didn't have any type of contempt for their government when our parents were growing up. They went with the government because they saw the government as a good thing.
Yeah.
It was working in their favor.
Right.
until it started not working in our
news, for that
favor.
matter.
And that's exactly, the news was way more trustworthy back then.
Yeah.
They had the public trust. The government had the public's trust. So anything like the World Economic Forum or even the WHO, you know, like things like that, CDC, these different organizations that we now know are dirty, corrupted fucks.
Yeah.
They had no idea back then. They saw them as pillars because they sold themselves as pillars. Until we started connecting dots, until conspiracy schizos started seeing the patterns here and bridging the gaps. And then the advent of the internet and social media and things allowed to become viral and sharing things to like-minded people, that's how we were able to blow the fucking top off this thing and get it to our hands and get it to the public's hands.
Yeah, and that's why they want to
COVID was a
censor the
huge
internet.
downfall for them. Huge.
Oh, yeah.
They thought they were ready for it. They thought they were ready. They were like, we got this whole idea, dude. This is what's going to kick it off. And I mean, they are making headway, you know, even in the advent of being blown open. But, I mean, dude, they've fucked up in a massive way.
They talk about diseases early. They talk about the idea of a fucking pandemic early.
Yeah, this is dense and very revealing stuff.
Yeah.
And it goes right back to this New World Order thing, which is inherently satanic. Inherently. Yeah. It ties back to this beast system they're trying to roll out. And I don't know, in the Bible, in the good book, it's telling us it's going to happen no matter what. But there is a good chance that it doesn't have to be in our lifetimes, even though it feels like it's going to be.
Right.
So, for me, it's like, open up your book, read that shit. Develop a relationship with Christ. Say Christ is Lord.
Yeah.
Be good to one another. Learn your shit. Listen to Shepherd's Pie so you know what you're dealing with. And we'll work together.
That was a fucking...
We'll work together and stop this shit, man.
A plug. That was
a little bit at a time.
That was a self-wank.
I jerked it. I jerked it, you know. Why not?
Yeah. Well, we will continue next time. Maybe we'll have
part 2.
Maybe we'll have like a little interim episode and then a part 2. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But honestly, just a quick up to date. We haven't released anything still, but we're getting fucking close. A lot of it's gonna come out right off the bat. It'll be quite an upload.
Little
schedule.
Cluster.
But it's getting exciting. We're getting fucking shit's about to start happening. So,
heck yeah.
Yeah, we look forward to fucking talking to everybody and seeing what everybody thinks. Putting a lot of work into it now.
Yeah.
And hoping something fucking comes of it.
Been a little bit of a journey already, and yeah, we haven't even really hit the ground yet.
Yeah, right? It's fucking insane.
But by the time it gets to the people's ears, we will have hit the ground. So this might sound a little weird, almost like we're talking back in time. And it's because we kind of are. Or talking into the future.
Right.
Dude, crazy.
Alright, we'll catch y'all later.
Much love, you fantastic folks.